The last is that I should be someone of integrity. What's called al-amana. Someone that people can trust. When I went to Boston 4 years ago, I'll give you an example. I met the city councilman. His name is Tito Jackson. Not that Tito Jackson. And everybody asked me. And I went into his office and I sat down. I prayed 2 rakat. I was like, oh Allah, I'm about to meet the city council. This is the second day I was there. I went in and he sat down. He looked at me and he said, so. I said, so. He said, brother. I said, brother. And then he got quiet. I said, how can my community serve you? I don't know how I said it because it's not what I wanted to say. I wanted to make a million demands. We want to have an Eid holiday. Our sisters this, that, this. We need the trains on Eid day to work this. And he stood up and he said, you're the first person to ever walk in this office and ask me what you can do for me. And he said, that's integrity. And I said, do you need us to walk kids to school in gang-ridden areas? And I start getting ideas, you know what I mean? Do you need us to do this? How about a backpack program we do now with one sister in Boston? And he was like, wow. So then he said, you know what? Tomorrow is my first prayer. I just took this position. It's my first prayer since I've been in office. And I'm going to call the person I had asked to lead the prayer and say, no, I want you to do it even though I'm Christian. Right? The point is, if people feel they can trust you, then they will take your leadership. But if they can't trust you, they won't let you lead them. And that's why the prophet is Amin before he's Nabi. Many of us in America, we want to be Nabi before we've been Amin. So people don't know much about us. They don't. Right, this is a whole new thing for me. I'm old school. You don't interrupt Nas when he's, you know what I'm saying? Like Rakim, you just let him finish. But I understand it. So we have to be trustworthy, like we see what Iman is doing here in Chicago. Ma'ruf is doing down the street. We see the work that Project Reach is doing in Washington, D.C. We see people who are akhfiya. We don't even know them. They're not speaking. But the work they're doing, people trust them, so they take religious guidance from them. And I'll give you an example. I was consulting a mosque in the West Coast. I apologize. And it's in a Hispanic neighborhood. And the brother was telling me, like, we put a Hispanic sign up, like, come worship one God. In Spanish, right? And he's like, but nobody came to our barbecue. I was like, of course not, man. This is what everybody says to the Latino Hispanic community, man. Like, it's very cheesy. So he's like, what should we do? I said, well, 2 weeks from now, you have school starting, right? And you have this massive immigration discussion. So why don't you consider doing 2 things? Why don't you provide vaccinations for children? Right? We have enough medical professionals in our community that can do that. Why don't you provide vaccinations for your neighborhood's children at the mosque? Right? And then secondly, why don't you provide pro bono immigration attorneys to give people some basic advice, at least in the initial phase of immigration? And the brother told me, but that's not what a mosque does. And I was like, then what does a mosque do? And he said, I'm serious. He said, they call to Allah. I was like, what? Like, how did you get that with that? Postmodernity.